We're on Lamites, and we did the Mishnah. I think we started the Gemara. Let's go over the Gemara again. Itmar bias katan. Okay, so we said that there's a special mitzvah incumbent upon the gadol, the oldest of the brothers, and we turn to him first. And let's say he defers. He doesn't want to do yibum. So what happens now? We have machlokas here that we started last week about chalitza. Who does the older brother have the responsibility of chalitza, or at this point that he refuses yibum, then we'll investigate our possibilities with the younger brothers that maybe one of them will be willing to do yibum. And chalitza's gadol is pligi bar Rabbi Yochanan Rabbi Yoshu ben Levi. Chan omer bias katan adifa, v'chan omer chalitza's gadol adifa. Man di omer bias katan adifa, daha ha-mitzvah b'yibum. What we're interested in is yibum. Chalitza is a failure. And if there's an option that one of the younger brothers would step up to the plate and do yibum, that's what we have to investigate. Umandi omer chalitzas gadol adifa is b'makom gadol bias kot lav klubim. So the way we explained it last week, and I hope this is correct, is that bias kotan is not an option because the Torah puts the option and the responsibility on the shoulders of the Bechar meaning the oldest. And if he refuses yibum, then he's obligated in chalitz. And now the question is, how do we fit these two shitos into the Mishnah? Now, we learned in our Mishnah, lo rotza. The big question is going to be how to interpret the word rotza. Lo rotza machzirin al kol ha'achim. If the older brother, the gadol, shabachim, refuses yibum, machzirin al kol ha'achim. That sounds like bias katan adifa. Let's see if we're right. My love, sharotza liyabim elo lachmitz. He's open to the possibility of chalitza, the oldest one. Nevertheless, Katani, mahalchin eitzel ha'achim. We'll go to the younger brothers. Is there anyone here who's willing to step forward and do yibum? Shmamino bias katan adifa. Good. So we're on the right track. Now, what we have to do is reinterpret the word ratzah to fit in or to be reconciled with the shita that says that chalitza's gadol adifa. The Gemara says, "Lo, there's no proof from that Mishnah. We can reconcile with the Mandiyom who says chalitza's gadol adifa, and lo ratza lachos the lo biyamin." So when the Mishnah says lo ratza, and then we turn to the achim, right? That's called machzirin ala achim. That's only in a case of a yavam gadol who refuses not only yibum but chalitz as well. And here I think we raised the question that has to be analyzed: well, can a person refuse chalitza? And that's going to be the sugya later on about kfir. Can we force him to participate in chalitza? Say it again? Correct. Well, there are other achim. So the question is, do we bounce it off the other achim? And maybe one of them will be willing to do yibum. Again, even though we're holding now according to Mandiyom chalitzas gadol adifa. But if he refuses, what do we do now? You have two options. Either beat him until he's black and blue, and it'll force him, compel him to do chalitza, which is a possibility that we'll address very quickly. Or instead of that, let's turn to the other achim. Who knows? We may hit payday, and one of the younger achim is willing to do yibum.
But we said originally that if the younger one, we said that one jumped in and copied with the beer with her, that was considered to be that he did the Yevamot.
Right, but so far nobody did Yibum yet. We're talking at sort of square one. We haven't even gotten by square one. We're trying to figure out, in a case where the gadol refuses, what do we do next?
Why would we think that we can't go to the next line of Achim to...
Because since the mitzvah of Yibum is on the oldest brother, then his mitzvah of Yibum encompasses like an A proviso B, meaning A, be miyabim, and B, in event that you refuse to be miyabim, then do chalitza. But chalitza is also a mitzvah. And since the Torah imposed the mitzvah of Yibum on the gadol shabachim, he now has the mitzvah of chalitza. That's called in the Gemara's language chalitzas gadol adif. You should write that on the board. Chalitzas gadol adif. So it's counterintuitive because we think the whole thrust of Yibum is to get to Yibum. But the Gemara is saying no. Chalitza is also a valid option. Part of the mitzvah. And the mitzvah is incumbent on the gadol. No, so what does it mean? Lo rata machzirin al kol ha'achim. So we're going to have to assume that lo rata means he's not even willing to do chalitza. And machzirin eitzel ha'achim. Now at this point, the Gemara is not happy with my kfir, my idea of giving him lashes. He refused even chalitza. The man is out of the mitzvah entirely. Lo mi ba'y yibum el afilu chalitza. He's not interested. That's when the Mishnah will turn to the other, allow us to turn to the other eye. So now let's see the Gemara and its deal. The kavasa legabi achim lo rotzu lo lachos lo yab. So now we read the next part of the Mishnah. We turn to the other achim, and we didn't do any better than we did with the gadol. They also refuse. Lo rotzu, and again, according to this opinion, the words lo rotzu means total wipeout. They don't want neither Yibum nor chalitza. Then it says in the Mishnah, Chozrim Eitzel Gadol. We go back to the oldest. Amai Chozrim Eitzel Gadol. At this point, we said that the mitzvah is incumbent on the Gadol, and that means both Yibum and chalitza. He refuses both. Okay, so we have a fallback position. We have no other choice. Let's turn to the Achim. But if we get nowhere with the Achim, because like the Gadol, the Achim Ktanim also refuse both Chalitza and Yibum, then what do we do in that case? Chozrin Eitzel Gadol. What does that mean, Chozrin Eitzel Gadol? He refused. And the answer is L'michfei. We're going to beat him up. We'll tie him, hand and foot to a pole and give him lashes. Like you say, David, there's an aguda here at stake. She can't marry anyone. There's no yibum and there's no chalitza here. So I think what the Gemara is saying is that when the Mishnah says lo ratzu, that they too, the other achim, the younger ones, refuse both yibum and chalitza, chozrin eitzel gadol lemichvei. Chozrin eitzel gadol means it's the last stop on the train. At this point, we're going to resort to the most extreme, harsh measures to guarantee that this woman gets her chalitza, even if it means that we have to beat up the gadol, the bechor.
Rabbi, can I tell a personal story on this topic?
Okay, but you want to give me just one more minute, Don, just to make sure that what I said now is correct. He says, "Bishlem nomer shalom ratzu kavana shel ratzu yamel lachas v'chein achim lo ratzu yamel lachas muvon madu achozin liachad gadol shiachas kem shekol achim rotzim lachas but who konim lekula. If all the brothers are willing and able to give chalitza, then we go back to the gadol. No one is interested neither in chalitza nor in yibum. Madua matrichin es bezin. Loshu liacha gadol l'foso hari b'shah shebezin sholin eshara achim. The amru sheinam rotzim lachos lo liaben l'chayfei lididu. So again, this was that naive Havamina that we never really justified this Havamina. The Gemara is now saying that if both the Gadol and the Ketanim refuse both Yibum and Chalitza, then why do you turn the ball back to the Gadol and start beating him up? Why not beat up one of the Ketanim? I don't know which one of them. And the Gemara's answer is what we said intuitively all along. That came in the mitzvah lady day ramya, right? The gadol has the mitzvah of chalitza and the mitzvah of yibum, and the mitzvah of yibum in its broadest scope includes chalitza as well. Therefore, the didei kaifina, we go back to him, the gadol, and we're going to force him. Yeah, all right, Don, go ahead.
Rabbi Nachman Kahana told a story that he got a phone call from someone, a woman, who was a widow for many, many years, but she finally had an opportunity. She was already in her 50s, and she had an opportunity to get married. And she had no children. But she was a religious woman, and she refused to get married until her brother-in-law, who was already in his 60s or 70s, would give her chalitza. And he was not a religious person. He was a chiluni, and he didn't want to know from nothing. And the rabbi, it took him like 2-3 months to convince the brother-in-law to do chalitza for the woman because she refused to get married unless he gave her chalitza. And eventually he told the story, I don't remember exactly what he did, but how he controlled the brother-in-law to eventually, because she spit or he spit, I remember, take the shoe, and to him it was a bubble miser, to have to deal with all of this. But the rabbi convinced the brother-in-law to do this so that the sister-in-law could get married.
The brother-in-law who initially didn't want to hear of it.
Who didn't want to hear about it. To him, it was,
I wonder how he convinced him. Did he cost him a pretty penny, probably?
This is one of the things he does. He talks to people, but it took him like 2-3 months, he said, before he could convince them to do it.
Would have taken me 2-3 years. So again, let's just go over. The bottom line is that according to one Mandi Omar, as soon as the gadol refuses yibum, we immediately turn to the ketanim, because pias katan adifa. According to the other shita, mitzvah ala gadol lachotz. If the gadol refuses yibum, then we want chalitza. If he refuses not only yibum but also chalitza, then we're going to turn to the other brothers. Hopefully, some of them, or one of them, we only need one, will volunteer for yibum. In the event that none of them are interested in yibum, then we investigate them, find out if any of them are interested in chalitza. In the event that none of them are interested in chalitza, they're not willing to participate and play ball, then we go back to the gadol and we're going to force him to give chalitza. And that's called in the language of the Gemara, lididei kaifina. Because he has the Iker mitzvah of Yibum, which includes chalitza as well. That's called the Gemara's language, came in the mitzvah lididei ramya, is lididei kaifina. Tonight we learned in our Mishnah. So again, the Gadol ha'achim, the oldest, the Bechor, refuses to do Yibum. Tala bi-chatan. So what I understand by the word Tala is he justifies himself by saying, why do I have to do Yibum? Let my younger brother do Yibum. Ad sheyagdil. All right, so now, again, I don't know how to square. Don't ask me how to reconcile this with everything else in the Mishnah. But now the word katan is referring to a boy who's less than the age of bar mitzvah. Ein shomim. Oh, this gives me a sigh of relief. The gadol is so interested in passing the buck to the other achim that even if the ach is a katan and he's incapable of being yibum, nevertheless the gadol is pressing that we should wait until he becomes a gadol so that he can fulfill yibum. Again, I have no clue, and I couldn't guess whether when he becomes a gadol he's going to be interested in yibum. If I had to guess, I would give you 99 chances that he doesn't want yibum. And how old is the Yevamot? 20, 30, 40, 50? He's bar mitzvah? But this is what the gadol is saying. The gadol is saying, I'm off the hook. Why? Because I'm not interested in yibum, and you have a younger brother that might very well be a candidate for yibum. He's a cotton, so we'll wait till he becomes a gadol. All right, and the Mishnah says Ein Shomim Lo. So let's just figure out. If Ein Shomim Lo, then I think that means that we're going to force him to do chalitza. Now we just said, according to one Mandiyara, that bias katan adifa. We don't want the chalitza of the gadol when there's a possibility that we'll have a candidate here for yibum. Right, that's called bias katan adifa. So we should wait until this katan becomes of age, and maybe he'll actually hit the home run. He'll come around and he'll do evil. The bias katan adifa is a mayin shomim lo nintar dilma gadol nyabim. If the enterprise, if the program is to push for yibum, then in this case where the katan is too young to do yibum, let's postpone, freeze everything until he becomes a gadol, till he's old enough to do yibum. And the Gemara seems to be, at this point, anything but compassionate on the Yevamot. I mean, we have here a case of a katan right now he's incapable of doing yibum, but we're going to wait until we have to wait. As long as we have to wait, we'll wait until he becomes a gadol. That's called bias katan adifa. So the Gemara rejects this, ulatay mech. And what do you hold? You hold chalitzas gadol adifa. We're not going to wait until this katan becomes a gadol. You, as the gadol, are obligated right now in yibum or chalitza. Those are your two alternatives. So why does the Mishnah say about gadol? Ad sheyavo mimedinas hayam. So what is the gadol saying? Now he's saying, I have a younger brother. He's sailing the 7 seas. Let's wait until he gets back. Till the younger brother returns from this trip. This is what the older gadol is yelling and screaming. Don't force the issue here as far as chalitz is concerned. let's wait until my younger brother comes back from Medina Sayyam. And the Mishnah says, Ein Shomila.
Older brother. The older brother. Brother, that's showing in this deal. The oldest one was overseas.
Oh, wait, who went to the seas? Just want to give me a
The
minute
oldest
here.
brother was.
Okay, give me a minute. The oldest brother is in the seas. So it's so ambiguous in the Mishnah. Okay, so the oldest brother is sailing the seven seas.
Next oldest.
And who's the next one in
The next
line is
oldest
saying,
brother.
let's wait till he
Yeah,
comes.
next oldest. Second oldest.
Ain't showing. What's the Gemara? Amai. Why don't we listen to him? Nintar Dilma Asi B'Cholitz. We're holding now the Chalitzas Gadol Adifa. So let's wait until he comes back, and hopefully he'll do Chalitza. So again, just to summarize, according to the Mani Omar, who holds the Chalitzas Gadol Adifa, so why does the Mishnah say Ein Shomim? We should be paying very close attention to what he's saying, what he's demanding, and wait until the Gadol comes back from Medina Sayyam. Ella, I'm going to have to assume that the reason why we don't wait for the Gadol is Kol Shiui Mitzvah Lo Mashahina. I don't know if there's a general principle in mitzvahs, or like we say, mitzvah b'aliyot chal tachmitzeno, or this is a specific explanation for this specific.
Obviously, it's using the limits.
Can I ask a question?
Wait, but just 1 second.
Yeah.
I just want to know, how do we translate these words? Kol shehuye mitzvah lo mashhina. Is this a yibum halacha, or she's an aguna, she can't get married, or is it a general halacha?
We do not delay doing it.
So again, we were asking a question. Let's go over the question. Why don't we wait for him to come back? Because chalitza's got a lot difa. Hello, you're going to have to say that the reason why we're not waiting for him to come back is kol shehuye mitzvah lo mashina. We don't delay the mitzvah. Right now, we could be makayim the mitzvah, and we're not going to postpone it.
And that's why also that you don't want to wait until the younger brother grows up, because we're pushing the mitzvah.
Because again, that would be a violation of shihuye mitzvah lo mashina.
Yeah.
So don't ask me why should we wait till the cut until he becomes older? Because we have a principle of shihuye mitzvah lo mashina. And this applies, even if you hold chalitzas gadol adifa, we're going to apply this rule of shihuye mitzvah lo mashina in a case where the gadol who should be doing chalitza is out there in Medina Sayyam. We're not going to wait till he returns. Yeah, not.
I know mine. It was kind of answered. So.
All right. So this leads us, I think, to Daf Lamed Tesam Beis. Is that correct? Yes, the Amri V'Bia, the Kuli Amal Pli. All right, this is already, I think we'll leave this for tomorrow. This is already a slightly different part of the sugya. Tomorrow is what? It's Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, wish you gentlemen a great day.